All right, so today we're going to be looking at a fire loss that happened in, looks like Monroe, New York. And this was for a detached garage. It also affected the house a little bit on the back of the siding. So I believe on this side there is a deck and then that back portion of the siding here. But mainly we're looking at the actual detached garage structure. And so we have a Docusketch. It looks like the notes from the PM are we had siding to the back of the home, which we just saw in that picture on this one. And then we have, looks like the deck next to the garage. So this portion here has all been damaged from the fire. And then there's a small vinyl fence. And I believe I got this right here. So it looks like this section probably right here. The reason I actually went to find this on Google was the roof is affected. So there's a note on here that the roof framing needs to be replaced, which at that point you can assume that you're also doing the roof itself. So I didn't have any photos from up there. So I just wanted to see, and I'm glad I looked because they have a continuous ridge vent shingle over style on this portion here. So we'll be using that data for that section. And then I'll probably honestly use like an overview shot. If you go, well, actually not there, but if you go here, and then I'll probably just get a quick idea sketch of this detached garage there. So we'll jump back in here, go this way just to see it. And it was this shot right here. All right, so now we have a view of the roof and we can kind of see windows as well. Shutters are going to be affected, garage door, this vinyl fence as well. And then when we get back into this info, we'll go inside and start to see those things. And then interior full gut. So there was a bottom portion and a top portion. I think the top portion was finished, the bottom portion was not. But what we'll do is go into Xactimate here, and we need to start kind of setting up the file itself. I'm Dustin with Empty Box, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe, like the channel, and we will get going on this detached grass fire. So we're going to do exterior elevations. And this is actually going to be for the detached garage portion. So we'll go exterior elevations, detached. And then we'll need to also set up one for the house itself. So we'll go exterior elevations, and this will be for main home. So we'll go like that. So that gets us those two portions, and then we need a roof as well. Like I said, I'm going to sketch this part. So I'm going to jump in here. And we can pretty much just do a gable over that. So I think if I go add, or actually it's a detached garage roof. And then we're gonna check the properties on this. So that's 112 feet. So we're gonna put this property at 115. Okay, so now we're over that part here. And it looks like they're running it this way. Let me just double check that on the, why did I move that? Let's go properties. There we go. So now it goes first floor, second floor, detached garage. And then let me make sure they're running. Okay, that doesn't have it. That has the peak ceiling. So then we can go like this, add a gable. And we're going to rotate this. So now we have the peak of the roof going that way. And then from this view, I'm going to say that's a 612. So you can click here, go to properties, and then you have slope, rise, and run. Both are the same, and that's 6 inches every 12. So now we have a 612 pitch, 452 is the roof. So we can go like this and call this detached garage roof. Okay, so that gets that portion set up. Now we have the file set up essentially to start estimating. So we have a sketch here. This will make this easy to actually get info into it. So we're going to go roof, and I will grab this one. And then we'll go here, and then I'm going to select all. So we are doing the rafters like they said. So that is roof framing. And let me just jump inside real quick and see second floor. So truss or rafters, we can do rafters on this one. I think we'll be fine. And so we'll go, we'll keep this. We'll keep this. We'll actually do CDX on that since we get a choice. So we'll go, oops. We're going to keep rafters, CDX. We're going to keep tear off because the roof is still on. And then we're going to replace. Let me double check that. It's hard to see if that's 3-tab. My guess is it is, but let's go back outside here. Yeah, we don't get a view of it there. I don't think we get a good view of it outside, so I'm gonna leave it like this, and if they say it's 3-tab, that's fine. We can go back and fix that later. But we'll go hip and range off. All right, so we'll go here, here, tear off that one, hip and ridge. We'll go drip edge, roof per hour we don't need, felt, asphalt starter. 612 ice and water in New York is probably on the eve edge, so we'll have to run it up. But it is a garage, but it is a finished garage. So we're going to keep the ice and water and let that kind of run up that way. And then we have fascia. It's hard to see if that's metal. I'll figure that out in a second. We can change that to wood later. And then we have, there are gutters on this. So we're going to go gutters. There's no pipe jacks, none of that. Continuous ridge vent, shingle over, we did see. There's no vents or caps or exhaust, no cornice gables, no rain caps, none of that, none of that. It is a 2-story, so we'll keep those two. It's a 612 that I'm guessing, so we're not going to do any of those. And then probably not any additional layers that look pretty flat. So now we can delete all those. And we'll estimate these out based on pretty simple. So this one can go square foot, and that'll grab that portion. Same thing here. And then we'll go tear off is square. And then the put back with a little bit of waste will go times 1.08 for waste. I'm going to bring this one back up here. And then we'll go hip and ridge. You can just type in, because we sketched it, hip and R. And that looks good there. And then drip edge can be P. Roofing felt can be square. We can change this to, yeah, that's fine. And then this one can be P. This one's going to be Eve times 3. Now, I don't know the actual code in New York, but I'm in Michigan personally, and I would probably think they're pretty similar as far as weather patterns go. So I'm going to put it as 3 feet past the eve edge, but this could turn into 6. I don't know the rules of that, but I'll just leave it like that for now, and then we kind of come back and fix that later. So we'll go that for fascia. This one is eve edge plus the downspouts. So it looks like down here we have, let's just say 20 feet, and we'll think that that's on 2 sides. So we'll go plus 40, and that should give us a decent number for that. Continuous ridge vent. So I like to go ridge minus a foot on each side, so -2, and that'll give a pretty realistic number for that. And then additional, the tear off, you go square, and then on the replace you go the same waste as the other, so 8%, and that gives us that. So that's a pretty basic roof, but we're already at, looks like 18,000 just for the roof. That seems fair. And then you can add this portion to the roof. Some people would put this on the exterior elevation, but because of the way that this fire happened and it affected everything, I think I am going to add this soffit onto the roof portion. So it could go under exterior elevations, it could go on the roof. I'm going to put it on the roof just to make it easy. And because I have it sketched out, it'll be easy to grab the numbers that I need. But I do need to see if on that edge it's also there, which it is. So the soffit does run there as well as there. So I'll just kind of do it all as one big number. And we'll go, I think it's FSG. So soffit, fascia, gutter. And then we want soffit, and it looks like it melted, so it's definitely not metal. It is soffit vinyl. And I don't know if it's a vent or not, but we're just gonna say soffit vinyl. Well, actually, because there's continuous ridge vent up here, you can assume that there's soffit vent as well. So actually, I am gonna change that to soffit vent. Um, and that would be this one here, and we'll do P for that, and that should be all right. Let me just double check. Linear metal or plastic removal, linear soffit vent, pre-finished. That's probably fine, but let me see what it would have been under just soffit for vinyl. Square footage, we'll go P because it's pretty much a foot. So those are pretty close. I think I'm just going to leave that one then. Okay, so that looks good. All right, so now we got the soffit, and just want to make sure there's nothing else I'm missing. Let's see, pretty simple roof. We got the fascia. That does look like metal too. So we did the framing of the roof. We got all that. We got the underlayment, all of that stuff, the decking, and the top portion. Okay, so that looks good. And then I think I'm gonna go, maybe we'll do the upstairs next and just kind of look inside here real quick. So second floor. So for the exterior elevations, we could do the windows next. These look like, how is that opened? Oh, that one just broke out. Okay. And then these are crank style. So because of all this framing style here, it's hard to tell if that's a vinyl window inside of it, but it is wood framed around trim wise. So I'm gonna see if that does look like vinyl. So I think these are vinyl windows. So we'll go exterior elevation, and then we're gonna go window vinyl. And then these ones look like, we'll just call these double hung. So there's two on this side. Where are they? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a bigger one. That's the triple. So those look like, I think it's called casement when it swings out. Let me just double check that. So we'll add this. Yeah, so that's a casement. So there's 3 of those. And then there's WDV, AV. No. Oh, that's an awning. Okay, so the other ones I'm going to say are double hung. And we'll go like that. And there was 5 of those. Wow, all those just blew out. Okay, so then that kind of gives us an overview here. I think what we'll do next is go inside. Now, this is one way that I personally would estimate, is think from a fire at least, because we already did the roof, kind of work our way down so that you don't like duplicate info that might be in one room and the next, because the whole thing is affected. So I wouldn't want to put insulation twice, put it in the roof and then also put it in the upstairs. So I'm going to just add, for the sake of not duplicating, I'm going to go insulation here, and then I'll type in bat. It looks like there's paper faced, so it's paper, and then this one right here. Okay, so that's for the ceiling. So now we have that for the ceiling, all that insulation. It looks like drywall is what was up there as well. So then we'll go drywall, and it's usually 5/8 on a ceiling, And then I like to go minus so we can texture it later. And this will be the ceiling like that. Okay, so now we got that portion. It looks like there's a ceiling fan and a bunch of recessed lights. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 recessed lights, or is it 8? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's 8 recessed lights. 8 of those. And then there's 2 ceiling fans. And the ceiling fans have lights. So fan and light. I'll go high grade like that. Okay, so that gets those portions, and I think the ceiling will be done. So one of the things just like right offhand that I'm seeing that I need to make sure I'm thinking through is go general conditions, is that this is a fire, and so it's actually a HMR loss, hazardous material remediation. So there's certain line items that I need to make sure I add in. So one of them is going to be the dumpster liner. And for a full tear down rebuild, we'll do, I don't think they're redoing the stud walls on the side, but we are taking all this roof off. So I'm actually gonna put, there's gonna be roofing material, framing material, floors, drywall, and then siding on that other house too, plus the deck. So I'm gonna do a 40-yard plastic dumpster liner. And then for the dumpster, we'll go dump double like that. So that'll give us a big enough dumpster for that and the dumpster liner. So now we've put our first line item in for hazardous material remediation. So now we have HMR. So now what I'll do real quick is go back over here, and anywhere it says remove and replace, these should technically be HMR line items. Now I don't think there's any for exterior stuff. I think it is mostly interior, but just to check really quick, let's look and just type in roof. So that's cleaning stuff. And then, okay. So we're not going to do the roof, but we're going to come in here to the upstairs. And now we have remove and replace of these. These ones do have HMR line items. So we're going to go HMR insulation. And it is a Cat 3. It's technically not wet insulation because it's for a fire. So we're going to go like that. And that'll give us the tear out. So then this is going to turn this into a replace. And then we have HMR drywall. And we'll get rid of the wet, but it is a Cat 3. And then, oh, that's for a 4-foot flood cut. So it's that one. And this will be for ceiling, like that. And then we'll change this to replace. And then these ones are probably going to stay like that. I don't think they have a tear out for that in HMR. But now we're starting to set this up as an actual remediation job, because there's going to be a lot of extra line items as we go through this for the floor, for the drywall, for the trim. So like we could do real quick here and go HMR trim. That's going to be a hazardous material. And so we have 5 windows plus the big one. So I'm going to go, just to kind of equal it out, we'll say 18 feet times 6. That'll give us like a rough number for that. And then we'll put on the put back like the actual trim, which looks like it's stain grade. So we would go here, FNC, which is finished carpentry, and then we would go trim. Actually, it's casing technically. So we'll go C, and that looks like it might be 3-inch. I don't know that line item. Okay, so C, 3-inch stain grade. And we'll do that the same of the tear out. So that's 108. And then we're going to go stain the trim. So we'll go trim S, stain and finish trim, and that's 108 as well, like that. So now we've got the window portion, but really I just wanted to show, when you look at these fire losses, you have the tear out portion under HMR as much as possible, and then you have the put back portion as the replace, but some of them won't have it, so you leave those remove and replace, and that kind of gives a better picture of what the actual loss is. Because I've seen on a lot of carrier estimates, and I think this one's for public adjuster. Yeah, so he's a public adjuster, so he's actually trying to bid these properly. And like the carrier would probably say, just tear out, replace of everything. So they'd go remove and replace. And it doesn't really give a clear picture, not only of scope, but also of value. Because you're not just going to come in here and just randomly pull this stuff out without wearing proper PPE. So, like, if we start looking at this as a scope thing, we're going to go to general conditions and we're going to do HMR, and then we're going to do PPE, and we want to make sure that people are protected. So they're going to wear like something to protect their breathing. They're going to wear now, because of the amount of loss and all this char, I would think the proper one for PPE would be, I'd go heavy duty first and then just see what this includes. So it's disposable coveralls, tape, gloves, mask, and labor to don and doff, which put it on and take it off. So that gives a decent amount. I'm gonna put we'll say 3 technicians times for the cleanup. We'll say 4 days times 8 hours. Oh, but that's for a different portion. So each we would say 3 people, 4 days, and they might don and doff twice because they'll take it off at lunchtime, put a new one on, and then take it off at the end of the day, and they have to throw this away each time. So that gives us a good picture of how many there are. And then I'm also going to add, though, the respirator portion, and I think you can get supply air you could do per day, or do a full face multi-purpose respirator. So because of the amount of char on this underside, I'm going to put this one that they should have their own supply air kind of coming into their mask, so they're not breathing any of that, just for safety. And per day we have 3 people times 4 days of demo is how I would do that. So that kind of gives that portion now. And looks like they have baffles here, actually. So what I would do is add back into the roof. We'd go detached garage roof and then go here. And I don't know actually the line item for that. It might be under insulation. So there's a baffle vent foam, those look like. So it's going to be that one here. And I think if you click it, should foam baffle vent, they were doing foam spacer between rafters and underside of roof sheathing. So those are there, and it's bid by lineal feet. So we're just going to go perimeter and give it like that. And then this is remove and replace. So we'll go up here, and then I'm going to slide that up under the sheathing right there. So that gives us that. And you can kind of see how these are built. You got to like kind of go with what you see, what you know, building stuff. But in my opinion, the best way to bid a fire loss like this, where it is technically still standing, a lot of damage though, is make sure first you understand the scope and what type of loss it was. Make sure you're adding in HMR line items where needed. And then anything in regards to things that you start to see that might not be easily, like on this one, all these had to be, God, you wouldn't have it all of the time have that in like a macro or something like that. So you gotta choose those. But we're starting to build the file out. We're at 38,000 so far. A lot of things to do. Gonna go to the outside next, I think, and start to look at some of this, some of the siding damage. So like right here, we've already done these windows, but now we can see that all of the siding, and we're going to do the whole exterior of the garage. So we've done windows already, and then now we're going to start to do some of the siding. So it's vinyl siding. So you can go here and then vinyl like that. And we need all of it. So one way you could do this is look back at, I'm going to just add that real quick and say yes. Go back to the garage roof. P is 121.18. So if I go here and go 121.18 times, and then you could assume like 9 foot. So that's probably 18 feet from ground up. And so I'm going to go 18 feet. And this was a square mostly. It pretty much was, well, oh, we have the perimeter. So we have the perimeter of the entire structure. by 18 feet should give us a decent square footage. So that's what the siding will be there. And then we have sheathing behind that. So I don't know. I've not done it much in here. Let's see. So they don't have sheathing. So it's in framing, I'm pretty sure. So framing, and if you go 1/2 inch, that would be sheathing. Okay, there we go. And then 1/2 inch plywood. And then that's going to be the same square footage. So it's 218, 1.24, like that. And that gives us that portion. So I don't know if in HMR, I would double check this and just see, do they have sheathing? So it's all soda blasting, HEPA vacuuming. We're getting rid of it though. So that's fine there. So probably what I would do in that case is, because there is so much char on this portion, is go HMR, and then I would go labor hours and just add an additional, let's say because it's the whole thing, we'll do 20. And then I'm going to say properly disposing of vinyl and sheathing that has been affected by fire and char, like that. So now we're getting an extra 2,500 just to like manage the loss properly, take enough time, not just rush and not like throw this stuff all over the yard and mess up other things. So that's kind of where we'd start on the exterior. A lot of work to do there too, but I think this is where I'm going to end the video. So again, I'm Dustin with Empty Box. If you're not subscribed yet, please do, and drop a like on this video. Feel free to comment in the section below if you have questions about how to estimate these type of losses, and we'll see you on the next one.